Do you not think Russia wanted Trump to win?
That's a good question. I don't know. If they did, I think they've made a mistake or they've calculated wrong here, because I know there's sort of a trope out there that says, well, he's Putin's puppet. Well, we also have to remember that was a very large disinformation campaign or misinformation campaign. And I don't want to make it sound more nefarious, but people swallowed that hook, line, and sinker and then ran with it, right? Over this idea that, oh my God, look at the dossier. So I think, there's sort of this narrative that says, okay, well, yeah, Putin definitely wanted Trump to win because Trump's going to completely get out of Ukraine. I don't think that's going to happen. And there's already been reporting that he had a call with Putin already. Now the Kremlin's saying, oh, that call never happened. But according to Western reporting, he had a call, and he said, you are not to intensify this war, and then basically setting down a marker. Now again, we won't know until we know, until he gets out there and he starts, putting more people in place. I'm very curious to see who he puts in at the Pentagon at the Defense Department. But
because if I was Putin, I know Trump has ran his whole campaign saying he's going to end this war. And if I'm Putin, I go, that means that I don't have to throw more men at the front line. I can get my economy back. Putin also wants to end this war. But if Trump doesn't end that war in the next 4 years, the Democrats are going to get in, because they're going to say, you said you were going to end the war, we're still out there fighting, you said you're going to end this. So
Trump, but think about it, if he does end the war, then they're going to say, well, yeah, that's because, you gave away, you and Putin like each other, and you gave away, some Ukrainian territory. Well, the reality is, look, Putin, he annexed Crimea during Obama's administration. He invaded during Biden's administration. He knew what he had. He knew what the response was going to be. Now, look, people say, well, Biden, to his credit, he kind of rallied and he pushed for more support. And yes, that's absolutely true. But Putin engaged in this during his time, right? Because I think he knew, or he felt he knew, maybe that's more important, he felt he knew what he was going to get. Now, he wasn't anticipating that NATO response was going to be his hardline, and that's a good thing. I'm glad that Biden has done that. Biden has also withheld authorization to use long-range munitions to target Russian military sites that are being used to target Ukraine, right? Now, you could argue that until Putin feels some pain or Ukraine is in a better offensive position of some sort, that you can't get people to the negotiating table. And again, if you want to end the conflict, you're probably going to want to do that, unless you just want Putin to overrun Ukraine. If you want that to happen, then stop support, and that's what's going to happen. But I think, the narrative, I think, is a little bit off. I'm not, because, yeah, you're right. If the war continues, right, I'm not sure the Democrats have as much, to play off of. But I think if the war is ended, then I think what they'll say is, you gave it away, acting as if somehow Ukraine could have won and gained all their territory back, which is unrealistic.
I think it's more compelling to say we stopped all the wars. And I think for Americans right now, I think they want to, look, we saved your money, we stopped sending billions there, we stopped the war, people aren't dying anymore. I think that's a much more compelling narrative than, I don't think Americans care as much, this is a guess, about giving away a little piece of a land they know nothing about.
Yeah, okay, you're right. That was my mistake. I think you're right in the sense that if the war is still ongoing, the Democrats have a better chance.
You lied. You said you'd shut it down in day one.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And from an electoral perspective, down the road, 4 years from now, 2028.
So if I'm Putin, I'm going, I know Trump, he's incentivized to stop this thing. And, I can, so that puts me in a stronger position, because if Trump doesn't stop it, then maybe Eric Trump's not going to get in next year, or whoever, or JD Vance is.
Yeah. I mean, I think Putin also, is smart enough to remember that it was the Trump administration that authorized lethal aid to Ukraine to begin with. Back during Obama-Biden years, they did not authorize lethal aid into Ukraine. And despite apparently Crimea annexation was going to be a red line, and